Crocodiles are found all over the world and have been around for millions of years, earning them the title of living fossils. They're vicious hunters, and their prowess is almost unrivaled in the animal kingdom. Plenty of man-eating crocs are known to live close to human civilization, with many people all around the world coming into regular contact with these creatures on a regular basis. We've scoured the internet for these 5 crocodile attacks caught on camera and spotted in real life to help give you a sense of their awesome power and just what they're capable of. Before we begin, make sure you hit that subscribe button to get notified every day for more amazing content. With that being said, let's begin. Number 5. Shaman Mistake. A croc attack in Indonesia ended up resulting in the death of a shaman and a 16-year-old boy, throwing an entire community into a panic. The man had submerged himself in water and had claimed that he was able to tame the man-eating beast, ensuring that it wouldn't cause any more problems. It seems that's easier said than done, with the croc not seeming to care much about its rehabilitation. The man can be seen in the water, in which he's almost totally submerged, with only his head bobbing above the water. He seems completely calm and focused on the task at hand, and it looks like he's meditating in order to calm both himself and the croc. People on the shore are obviously quite nervous about the entire thing, even laughing about the ridiculousness of the scene. That being said, when a shaman says they've got things covered, people generally tend to take them seriously. So these people are obviously here to witness a miracle in the making. We don't really know what the people present thought would happen, but anyone who knows anything about crocodiles knows that meditation isn't the best way to control or subdue them, especially when you're presenting yourself as an easy meal, already swimming around in its favorite hunting grounds. The man stretches his arms out as if in prayer, and then dips his head below the surface, almost as if he were performing a ritual. He remains under the water for quite some time, floating with his head just below the surface, as if he's trying to communicate or bond with the killer croc. After this, he pops back up out of the water and begins swimming relatively casually back to the dock. It looks like his ritual went off well and was pulled off without any issues until he's made it around 10 feet and reaches towards the dock to pull himself out of the water. All of a sudden, there's a lot of movement around him, and he's pulled underneath the water. There isn't much of a reaction from the people on the shore. They seem to have expected that the croc would pull him under and don't look surprised at all. You can see the guy being pulled under for a bit before you see a stream of bubbles rising to the surface. Nobody tries to help, and everyone's very chill, with no people yelling or losing their minds, which is what we'd expect to hear after someone just got disappeared by a killer croc. We don't actually know what happened to the guy, but a second video is surfaced that seems to show a massive croc swimming away with something grasped between its jaws, but the animal's too far away and the footage is too blurry to make out anything distinct. We really hope this guy didn't get taken out by the croc, but we have to admit it's always a distinct possibility when you hop into their body of water and proceed to offer yourself up as an easy meal. This video could very easily be a hoax based on the light reactions of those present, but it looks pretty real to us. Number 4. Trainer gives croc a hand. When an animal trainer at the Shoalhaven Zoo dropped a piece of meat that he was tossing to one of his crocs, he absent-mindedly attempted to pick it back up and try again. The croc, however, was hungry enough that it wasn't willing to wait and snatched up both the meat and the trainer's hand in the same bite. Realizing that it had just won the lottery, the croc then began dragging the poor guy by his hand towards the enclosure's water feature. The entire incident was caught by a visitor to the zoo who was busy filming him feeding the animals. The fight to free his hand actually took quite some time, with the trainer eventually managing to free himself and get back to safety. He was taken to the hospital where he received surgery and stitches, although he's expected happily to make a full recovery. The croc involved, named Johnny, wasn't punished for his transgression, as it was only in his nature. The crowd surrounding the enclosure seemed to be mostly kids, and you can hear them all scream as they realize what's going down. The trainer, for his part, took his injury quite well and kept his cool the entire time, ensuring that he was able to remain calm and think quickly throughout. Number 3. 2 predators tangle. National Geographic filmmakers were able to capture one hell of a fight that took place between a crocodile and a leopard, both of whom are impressive hunters. The leopard is definitely tempting fate by attacking the croc, especially as it ends up heading into the water to do so. The leopard looks like it's actually doing quite well to begin with, but it doesn't take too long to realize that the croc has all the advantages. At one point, the leopard tries to flee, and when the croc gets pulled to shallower water, you get a glimpse at just how massive it is. It's clear that the leopard is doomed and not about to win at this point. It reaches the shore, but the croc has a firm hold of its tail, and the soggy cat just can't get enough of a grip to pull itself loose from the croc's death grip. The rest of the crocs then circle around the body and begin to absolutely tear into it, stripping it of any meat in mere minutes. This is a wild video and absolutely worth a watch, assuming you're not squeamish. It's amazing to watch crocodiles do their thing with such extraordinary power and efficiency. It's no wonder these predators have roamed the planet basically unchanged for millions of years. They're built to be amazing hunters, and their ambush tricks are as effective as they are swift. Number 2. Croc attack goes viral. We can't quite tell if this video's real or fake. The debate's pretty intense, and while we're leaning towards it not being genuine footage, we have to admit that it really does look quite real for the most part. The video starts with a close-up of a croc powering its way through some fast-moving water, seemingly on a mission. The croc eventually swims far enough away from the camera to give viewers a good sense of its surroundings. When the camera pans up and out, it's made clear that the croc is actually chasing something down and is right in the middle of a hunt. That's when a guy with long hair comes into frame, looking directly at the croc while wading through the water as fast as he can. It's obviously not fast enough because the guy's in fairly deep and the water's up around his chest. When the croc approaches, he begins trying to swim away faster, but one quick flick is all it takes for the croc to snatch him by the back of his neck. The beast leaps out of the water as it does this, landing on the guy, thus forcing them both beneath the waves and out of view. The struggle is brief, and the water becomes incredibly calm almost immediately after they disappear, with no sign of either of them before the camera's turned off. Our first reaction when watching this video was, who in the hell would film something like this and remain so calm? Our second thought then was, why would the guy be out there in the first place? There doesn't seem to be any blood in the water, which is the fact pointed out by many people claiming this video is just a clever edit, and we have to agree that it does seem a little off to us. If you have any information regarding this video, please let us know in the comments below, as we wouldn't mind putting our minds at ease and getting to the bottom of this possible hoax. Number 1. Zebra crossing. We should warn you that our last video of the day doesn't end with the zebras coming out on top, which should be expected at this point. When animals have to cross a stream or river, they constantly run the risk of getting snatched by a lurking predator. Areas that allow access to water are hotspots for predators and prey alike, forcing conflict more often than not. That's exactly what happened to this pack of zebras who were only trying to make their way to better feeding grounds and a safe place to raise their kids. The footage begins with an adult zebra bounding through the water, seemingly unaware of a massive croc just cruising on over to see what all the fuss is about. It's clear that it knows it's about to score a meal if only it can get in position to strike. While zebras are out of their element in water, the stream isn't all that deep, and they're more than capable of booting a hungry croc in the face if it gets too close. The foals, however, have less power and generally aren't able to put up much of a fight. This ends up being the case when a young foal is seen prancing through the water before it pretty much runs straight into the waiting croc, who doesn't miss a beat and immediately snaps his jaws shut around the surprised and helpless animal. It pretty much collides with the predator head first, which would have dazed it just long enough to allow the croc to get a good grip and ensure its prize didn't get away. The croc holds the foal under the rapidly moving water for a while as the rest of the zebra herd gather on the sides of the bank to watch, with none of them actually willing to put themselves in danger as well. It would have been a hopeless rescue anyway, as all the damage was clearly done at that point, making survival for the foal impossible. The croc swims around with its catch for a little while before its neighbors realize that food's up and starts moving in. They really go to town on the foal, with multiple crocs all making sure they get a piece. The zebra, even as a foal, was still a little big for the solo croc, and it's good to see they've at least got a sense of helping out the community as a whole and not being selfish when it comes to their meals. The feeding frenzy becomes even more terrifying when the crocs start trying to swallow their catch, raising their heads well into the air and trying to force the little guy down their gullets. The crocs do eventually get a little more greedy as there's less of the zebra to pass around, however, and this display of life and death out in the wild is something that people don't often get to see, making this video as educating as it is gruesome. Alright, Top 5ers, we have something very exciting for you to see.